You know, between all the rock and roll that I did, from about 1965 to 1975, there'd always been spurts there where I wrote religious songs. Not that I never was religious. I was brought up Episcopalian. From the time I was, I guess, 6 up until I was about 16. Before that, my dad used to take me around to Baptist churches. And, you know, I was an altar boy and sang in the choir and all that. And, of course, fell away when I was about 16 years old because I discovered girls. And, you know, it was kind of a woman that got me kind of back into religion in 1972 or 73. Which I needed that change because I just felt there wasn't really any goal for me at the time. So it's just, you know, rock and roll, and I needed some kind of a spirituality in my life. So anyway, I had seen several church productions of different things, you know, songs praising God. And I said to a friend of mine, Kathy Bergen, one time, I said, you know, I think I could write, you know, a rock opera, a religious rock opera. I mean, people had already done Godspell and Jesus Christ Superstar, and I thought, you know, I could do it. And I came up with this idea of a thing called the Promised Land. And all around late 77, I put all the projects to the side and said, now I'm going to concentrate on writing this thing. Now, I had already had 6 songs that I had previously written back in 73, 74, that fit, you know, in the religious category. And so I remember, gosh, ideas would pop up in dreams, and I'd get up and I'd write things down and sing into the tape recorder. I'd be, you know, on a date somewhere, and I'd pull up my piece of paper and I'd write an idea down and change it later, and or I'd be at church, you know, and somebody hit me and I'd pull out a program and do this. And so all this kind of came to a head in 79. I had, gosh, 12 songs. And so a friend of mine, Janine, was also a writer, said, you know, we should really do something with this. And I said, yeah, well, where would I play it? So, you know, I remember one of my friends was over, and he heard, you know, he said, well, what have you done lately? And so I played this whole thing for him, and he got all teary-eyed, and he says, you know, I think we need to play this for people at church. So this would be a great activity. And I kind of looked at him, and I said, oh, I don't know. He says, well, why don't I pencil you in, he said, around the 15th of April. Well, this was like March 28th, and I said, good grief, that only gives me like about 2 or 3 weeks. Oh, I had a roommate that was musical, so he was one. Of course, I got Janine involved, and there was my friend Wayne, who I dragged in, and a friend of ours named Jill. And so Janine decided, well, you know, we need some narration here, and so she wrote up a script, and we got a friend named Doug to do the narration between the songs. And so practiced, and the day came. I said, are you ready? You know, we had the place to play, and all the guys had invited their parents except for me, and so I just kind of nonchalantly said to my mother and father that I was playing and that it wasn't quite sure if my sister and brother would come to it. So that day, I mean, I took off work. Well, I just couldn't function. Several times I threw up, and even before I went on, got the shakes. And for prosperity, I had somebody take the program. And my goodness, this thing was 45 minutes long. People loved it. We ended up doing this thing about 3 more times, but my wife-to-be was actually at the first concert. Didn't know she would. My wife at the time, because I got several other girls' numbers from that concert. And we ended up, well, the last thing that we did was down at the Visitor Center down in Westwood. And played that. We were also on, we were recorded to be on radio. And people had been to the original concert, came up and gave us their testimony that it had really, the music had really changed their life. So, I had been questioning before, what difference did these songs, make? And, everybody had their favorite. And so, this music still stands today. It's still good. It still, makes sense. And I'm, proud that I did it. Promise that.